Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Upper Room. For those of you who may not know, I am a longshoreman, and so between us unplugging some refrigerated boxes to be loaded to the ship and us going onto the ship to plug them in, I have this big block of time today until I have to go up on the ship. So I decided to make this video in my car and talk to you guys a little bit about science and religion. I made a video about science and religion a long time ago when I first started making videos, but I'm still running into people who seem to think that science and religion, if you're scientific, if you believe in science, then you don't believe in religion, and religion's like this silly thing. And if you're religious, then you can't believe in science, and both of those statements are not true at all. In fact, the Catholic Church does very much support scientific discoveries. They include scientists when, especially experts in their field, when they're determining whether someone becomes a saint or not, because generally miracles, healing miracles, are linked to the person that someone asked for the intercession of this particular person and they were healed, miraculously healed, like cancer, like a debilitating disease that is incurable is magically gone, okay, after they asked for the intercession of the person who had passed away. Sometimes there will be a glowing light around the person's grave, and when they dig the person up to find out what this light is, then they discover that the person that they dug up is incorrupt. In other words, their body does not decay, and they're like 20, 30 years old. Some saints we have are like hundreds of years old, and they look like they just died yesterday. So these are incorrupt saints. So the reason why the church involves scientists and people who are experts in their field to try and look at these things is because they try to get the scientists who are experts to prove this is not a miracle, that this is there's some natural way that this happened. And when these experts who may be religious, who may not even be religious at all, the ones who aren't religious are generally the ones who are chosen because they are trying to prove that there's miracles don't exist. But when they can't, when they have no explanation, when the evidence doesn't show anything, they have no choice but to say, I can't explain this. This doesn't make sense. This shouldn't be happening. That becomes a miracle, and the church calls it a miracle. And so science and religion are paired together. Some of our most famous scientists throughout history understood this. Nikola Tesla once said, science, because he was always questioned about this, science and religion are as opposed to one another as my thumb and my forefinger, to where if I put them together, I can grasp everything in the palm of my hand. That's very true, because science and religion quite often intersects with each other. Science does not explain that God doesn't exist. Neither does it prove that he does. But you can't use science to try to say, like, even if they proved, which I don't believe they can, that evolution entirely, that we came out of being out of nothing. Even if evolution proves to be true, it doesn't prove that God doesn't exist, and it doesn't prove that God couldn't have created us at some point. Okay, so in the beginning. So it doesn't prove that either. It just proves as a method in which we have evolved, if that were true, which I don't believe that it is. Not Darwinism. I don't want a bunch of comments or anything about I don't have those kinds of beliefs. I'm a Catholic. I believe we came from two ancestors that we all have in common, which, by the way, anthropologists and geneticists have been able to trace back that every human being on the planet can be traced back to two ancestors. Okay, so which means we are all in some way related. Okay, at least genetically. All right, and so that's the claim, that Ethiopia is the cradle of life. Ethiopia is where, where anthropologists and geneticists claim that these common ancestors came from. Now, like I said, we believe, religious Catholics believe, Christians believe, Adam and Eve were the first human beings. Science is proving that we all have two common ancestors. So science and religion are intersecting, right? Just like the same thing, lots of atheists say, yeah, we came from nothing. You don't believe in the Big Bang? They don't even know what they're saying, because the Big Bang was actually proven by George Lemaitre. George Lemaitre was a colleague of Albert Einstein, and George Lemaitre was a Catholic priest. So he was a physicist and mathematician, and he proved with mathematics and he proved that everything in the universe is moving away from each other, and everything, if you rewind time, will bring all matter in the universe back to one singular point. Okay, so he proved this with mathematical equations. All right, not Albert Einstein. He was a colleague of Albert Einstein, but George Lemaitre proved it. So go ahead and Google George Lemaitre and say, who is George Lemaitre? And it will show you that he discovered the Big Bang, and he was a Catholic priest and physicist. Okay, so science and religion, some of the greatest scientific discoveries have been discovered by religious people. And at the very least, we who are religious understand that science is a way of explaining what God did. It's not a way of refuting God, and it's not a way of proving that God isn't real. It's just a way that we can explain it using our own way of thinking, like our human beings' way of understanding how something was done. Okay, so you can't like, I can't stand it when people say, yeah, I'm not religion doesn't really interest me. I've never really been into it. I believe more in science. I'm like, how can you believe in science and not believe in God? Because science is a way of explaining what God's done. So it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, and the other, atheists think that, if you're an atheist, that means you're highly intelligent, because it's stupid to think that God could actually exist, this being up in the sky or whatever, right? But we believe that God is outside of time, that he is outside of the universe. So time he's not confined by time, right? He's in the future, he's in the past, he's in the present. He can see everything that's happening all at once, right? So I know it's hard for us to understand that, but at the very least, we can understand that we're on the earth revolves around the sun. The hours in our day depend on where the sun's at in the sky. How where our seasons depend on where the sun is and our rotation around the sun, right? So if you're outside of the universe, those confines of time don't apply to you. So aging can't happen. So there is no past, there is no future, there's no present. It's all at once. So science and religion are more relatable to each other than most people understand. So, and the thing is that the bottom of it is that the truth of the matter is that they don't want, these people, most people don't want to be religious. They don't want to believe in God. They don't want to have to follow rules. They don't want to do those things. So they look for other excuses and reasoning behind why they don't want to. And they try to implicate those who are religious as fools. And that's not right. And even if you are not someone who believes in God and says that you have a moral compass, there's technically no reasoning behind why you would be that way. We Catholics and Christians and religious believe that if we do good, God rewards us, and if we do wrong, God teaches us a lesson of why we did do wrong. And if we are evil and we repent of the evil, God is merciful enough to forgive us. But if we do evil and continue to do evil and not include God, or not take responsibility for what we've done, or not forgive others and hurt others and hate God and hate people and hurt people, God punishes those people, because it's justified that someone like that should be punished, because they're not accepting all of the many ways that they can be forgiven. In fact, they choose not to be forgiven, and they choose to continue to hurt people. That's why there has to be an ultimatum. God gives it to us. He leaves it in our hands. That's why it's fair, it's right that some people are going to be punished, not because of out of like a random choice. It's because it's their own choice. They don't want God's love. They don't want to believe that he exists. They want people who believe in him to look like fools for believing in him. And those people who don't believe in him, don't trust him, don't love him, a punishment exists for people like that. I mean, whether you believe in God or not doesn't prove that he's not there. So anyway, I hope this video kind of like opened your eyes a little bit. I'm sorry if I, got a little, upset, but I face this all the time. Like, it's a constant thing. Like, people who don't believe in religion think they're smarter than you and smarter than God, and that people who do believe in religion, it's like you're living in the past. You're living in, it's just that we've evolved from there. We don't need God anymore. God doesn't exist. This is so crazy to think of this. It's so crazy. Like as if our society progressed, so now we have no need of God. Ridiculous. Anyway, thanks again for watching Up the Room. I'll see you again soon. If you like the sweater, John 6:56, he who eats my body and drinks my blood abides in me and I in them. You can get that at mygleam.com.co. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up, and share this video with someone that you think may need to see it.